Hey, I'm CJ Maurer with The Gist, back with another strategic HubSpot tutorial. Right now, we're going to teach you how to route and assign leads to your sales team based on territory. So let's dive in. Different sales teams assign leads different ways, right? I know some sales teams that have a sales manager that wants to manually review and assign leads to their reps every single time. Some reps will own different industry verticals, or they'll have different business segments, like I'm small business, I'm mid-market, I'm enterprise. Some teams automatically assign leads to their team on an open rotation, but a lot of them use territories, right? So we're going to show you how to set up HubSpot so that you can seamlessly and consistently assign the right leads to the right reps based on territory. So right now, what I have pulled up is a form, right? If you've never done this before, all you have to do is go to the marketing section in the left sidebar, click forms, and then you're going to create your forms. Actually, how to create forms is a conversation, a video for another time. But right now you can see this is the form. This is a schedule a demo form. So you've got your normal information, first name, last name. Now, before we get into how to actually route and assign, the first thing that you should know is you should require leads on your website to fill out all of the information you would want before creating a deal and assigning it to a sales rep, right? So things like employee count and pay frequency, and again, this happens to be a dev portal for the payroll and HR industry. Things like employee count and pay frequency is not going to dictate, especially in territory-based assignments, who it goes to. But it's really helpful information for a sales rep to have going into the first call. So think about the information that your sales team is really going to need. Think about information you would want to live on the deal records and then report on long-term. Okay, but next, you need to figure out what is the basis upon which our territories work, right? If it's state, then you need to capture state. If it's zip code, then you need to capture zip code. If it's something else, then you need to capture something else. So in this case, we're going to use the example of state. If you're using state, I strongly recommend creating your own custom state property, because the default property in HubSpot is called state/region, and it is an open text field. However, you could very easily create your own custom property and add in all of the 50 states, or you can add other territories, Canadian provinces, whatever you may choose to use. The reason why is because it eliminates the possibility that the person entering the form is going to misspell the state, have a typo, or whatever. Now they have to pick. So it makes it easier to standardize. Now you have everything else in the form, and that's great. Now you publish that form, it's live on your website, and now somebody fills it out. So step 2 is you have a workflow that is triggered by when somebody submits the form, right? So this is a contact enrollment trigger, and we're saying contacts enroll when they have filled out this form on any page. Now, again, what's cool is you can allow contacts to enter workflows by submitting multiple forms, or just one form on any page, or one form on specific pages. So you can have different workflows and different follow-up actions for a lot of different specific scenarios. Okay, so we got the trigger. Make sure the workflow triggers when somebody fills out the form in question. Next, I recommend a 1-minute delay. Why? Sometimes as soon as the contact's created, there's also a company that gets created and associated based on the domain name match. And you may have workflows that pass data between contacts and companies, or you may have actual company properties on the form itself. And so you want to give that some time to propagate. Okay. Now, the very next thing that we're doing is we're creating a branch. So before we do anything else, we need to say, who does this need to go to? Because once you know who it needs to go to, you can set them as the contact owner. Then you can create a deal and assign the deal to the contact owner. You can send internal tasks and notifications to the contact owner. And you can even send follow-up emails to the prospects themselves from the newly assigned contact owners, all automatically. So in this case, what we're saying is we have some territories. Okay, we have the Northeast territory. So we just went in and added all of these states. The way to do that is, if we're basing it off of state, right? You would just say add criteria, contact property, company property, And this could be a contact property. It happens to live as a company property in this demo portal, right? You click state, is any of, boom, boom, boom. You make your selections and there you go. I already made those selections, so I'm not going to do that again. I have the Northeast Territory with all of the New England states, New York, New Jersey, a couple of others. We got the Southeast Territory, the Midwest, and the West, and then we have open territory. All right. So now you can see, if I zoom out here, you can see all of these branches reflected in the workflow. If the state is in the Northeast, it's going to Phil, the Southeast is going to CJ, the Midwest, AJ, the West, Matthew, and then open territory, we'll talk about that in a second. All right, technically, it's as simple as that, right? Based on the territory, we've already made the correct rep the contact owner. But again, if you're trying to pass a lead and assign a lead to the sales team, you want to take a couple of more actions. So what we have for each branch is we're creating a deal, right? We're creating a deal and assigning it now to the contact owner. Because we've already set the contact owner, then it's very simple to assign the deal to the contact owner. So we're taking all of those fields that were gathered in the form and copying them over to the deal, from the contact to the deal. Now, not only is that lead assigned to the right rep, but the deal is created, the deal is assigned to that rep, and they're getting an email notification. If this is going to Phil, it's going to say, hey, Phil, we've just received a new inquiry through the website. Here's all the information, so on and so forth, right? Whatever you want to put in there. One other thing that you can do is you could take it a step further, and again, create an automated email that goes to that prospect, sending from the contact owner, right? So that's a different video for a different day in terms of how to configure that. But when you create an automated email, instead of having it come from a specific person, you can have it come from whoever the owner is. So when you send it in the workflow, you just set the owner first and then send it. So that's really, really cool. We have a lot of our clients and partners that in these scenarios, they'll send a follow-up email to the prospect already, again, within 2 minutes of them submitting the form, that says, hey, I'm CJ. Thank you so much for reaching out. I would love to talk to you. I'll be reviewing your submission. In the meantime, don't hesitate to put a time on my calendar, and boom, link to a meeting link, and they can book a time. So sometimes reps find out a lead is assigned to them when they get the notification that says, hey, prospect from ABC Demo Company just booked a time on your calendar next Tuesday. Very, very cool. The last thing that you'd want to consider is if it's an open territory, right? Because a lot of sales teams have territories, but they don't necessarily cover everything. Let's say if it's state-based territory, it's very, very common to have territories, but to not really do a lot of business in certain aspects, certain places in the country, in which case nobody technically has that. So in that instance, you can just simply put it on an open rotation, which we've done here is rotate record to owner. And then it's the same process. So it'll randomly rotate it, choose the contact owner, then again, create the deal, send the internal notification, send the email, whatever you want to do. Or in this case, another option could just be to assign it to the sales manager or a person to review it manually. But that's it. Pretty simple, right? Assigning leads to your sales team based on territory. 1, start with the form. Make sure the form is gathering all the data you would want your sales team to have before a sales process begins. 2, make sure you're gathering the property or properties that you would use to assign based on territory, whether that's state or zip code or whatever it may be. And then 3, build a workflow with the right trigger, some branches, and whatever you want to automate once a prospect has inquired. That's it. I hope that you guys find this valuable. We do a lot of work with sales teams and marketing teams and sales and marketing alignment. So this is a really, really common use case. We absolutely love making these videos and we want to keep making more. So if you have any questions or comments or ideas for other videos you'd like us to make, please leave a comment below or click the link in the description, go to our website, fill out the form, or even book a HubSpot strategy session on one of our calendars. We would love to hear from you. Thanks so much.